Just like having the right information is necessary to make solid hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
State Systems is focused on protecting life and property. As a local, privately owned company, our foundation was built on providing all businesses with complete fire and security protection and infrastructure cabling. State Systems is proud to be a part of the Mid-South community and a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance has been serving the Mid-South since 1954. We've always focused on supporting our community and believed in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb & Pitts is proud to be a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
Additional funding provided by Christian Brothers University and Baptist Memorial Healthcare. Get better with Baptist.
This month on The Spark, our theme is Heart Full of Soul. We'll learn more about a locally owned and operated restaurant using their delicious food and award-winning wine selection to serve as a catalyst for giving back. We'll take a look at a globally known nonprofit focused locally on relief, renewal, and response. And we'll discuss an organization providing comprehensive services and a strong support network to help individuals affected with HIV and AIDS. Have you ever been excited by a new idea? Inspired by watching someone lead by example? When we talk about creating change, we start by sharing the stories of everyday heroes who are making a difference in their own way, so we can learn and do the same. This truth is the power behind this show, which is focused on business and community leaders that are leading by example to give back, fuel change, and create new opportunities for the Mid-South. I'm Jeremy Park, and this is The Spark. They're globally known. They're focused locally on relief, renewal, and response. I'm here with the area commander for the greater Memphis area, Captain John Rich with the Salvation Army, and you have a very rich and long tradition globally, but also locally. Share a little bit about just the formation for the Salvation Army.
Yeah, the Salvation Army started in 1865 in London, England, so almost 150 years ago by a Methodist minister, William Booth. We're in 126 countries now around the globe. We came to Memphis in 1900. 5 local churches said we need the Salvation Army here in Memphis because of the needs of that time. And so we hoisted our flag here in Memphis in 1900 and been here almost 115 years.
And faith and service play an important role in this, correct?
Yeah, our motivation is really the love of God. We serve others because they're made in the image of God, just like we all are, and we want to serve them because we know God loves them. We want to serve them, especially the most under-resourced people of the community.
And so we mentioned your 3 areas of strategic focus, but I want to start with kind of the fun one for me is the Salvation Army Kroc Center. It's absolutely state-of-the-art. It's amazing. We do a lot of events there ourselves, and you have indoor soccer, you have basketball, you have kind of a worship area, and you have a theater, and then you also have this like walking onto a starship or a spaceship. It's absolutely amazing, a Discovery Center. Talk about the Salvation Army Kroc Center.
Yeah, there are 27 of them around the nation. The money was provided by Joan Kroc, and locally we raised $25 million to go into an endowment for operations. And really the big idea is that it will be an asset to the whole community. That community center will be just that, a center for the community that really focuses in on the whole person. Again, fitness, wellness, as well as spiritual. We have a worship center there as well. We have the arts center, so the arts and what that brings to the human experience, as well as education. Lots of different seminars and opportunities for education within the Kroc Center.
It doesn't
as well.
hurt that you have swimming and a water
Right,
slide.
that's right, and it's fun, that's right.
Absolutely, but you know, part of that strategically was putting it in the center so that you could bring together all different faiths, socioeconomic levels, races, everybody together in one place.
Yeah, there couldn't be a better spot than the fairground area in Midtown, and we see people from every socioeconomic background, every cultural background, and when you walk through it, it just feels like Memphis. Everything Memphis is there.
And how many members at this point?
Over 9,000.
That's crazy,
Yeah.
That's awesome. So transitioning over, one of the other pieces is things like disaster relief, response. Talk about the relief efforts.
Yeah, we are very committed to being one of the safety net organizations here in town. So when disaster strikes, either through bad weather, flooding, or tornadoes, those kinds of things, we certainly step in at that time, and we serve the first responders food and make sure that they're able to do their work. We also serve when there's a crisis of homelessness. When somebody finds themselves homeless for whatever reason, we are the largest provider of shelter and services for homeless women and children in this community.
And obviously those are short-term stepping in and being a part of that safety net, but you also have long-term solutions as well.
Yes, we do. We have one program called the Renewal Place program. It's a residential program for homeless and addicted women with their children so that they can recover as a family unit, stay up to 2 years, and they get intensive treatment while they're there. They're treated for their addiction. They're treated with, helped with parenting skills, how to raise their children. And the children are treated as well because they've been exposed to trauma, being the child of an addicted homeless parent. And so it's very unique, and you see just incredible success stories come out of there where lives are literally saved and changed for the better.
And that's a perfect segue. Let's take a closer look at the Purdue Center of Hope.
My name is Barbara Tillery. I'm the Director of Social Services here at the Salvation Army. I manage all of the programs here at the Purdue Center of Hope. We have 3 homeless shelters. We have an emergency assistance program. Usually this building is teeming with women and children. My day is managing these shelters. When families walk through this door, they are broken. They've been everywhere they could go, but this is when we want them. We want them because they are open to whatever services we can provide, and the care and the hope that we can provide is right here at the Salvation Army here. It's 696 Jackson. They walk in broken, but they walk out whole.
That gives us a little perspective on the Purdue Center of Hope, but part of why we're talking about it is because we're in the season for the Red Kettle campaign. Mm-hmm. Talk about the Red Kettle campaign. Yeah,
we're known for that. I mean, it's not Christmas without those red kettles and bells outside of the stores at this time of year. And it's a very important part of how we fund the work that we do at the Purdue Center of Hope. We'll be at over 70 locations starting the Friday before Thanksgiving. And our goal this year is over $500,000. And so that's a key component that funds our residential programs at the Purdue Center of Hope, where we house over 115 women and children every single night of the year.
Wow. And also, Angel Tree is a big part of what you do as well.
Yeah, this time of year we're going to serve over 5,000 children and seniors with the Angel Tree program. And again, that's making Christmas a joyous time for people who otherwise wouldn't experience the joy of Christmas. And so Memphians, thousands of Memphians from all over the greater Memphis area donate toys and clothing, and they pick up their angel tags at the malls this time of year. And it's a huge deal to make Christmas a brighter time for those who are often in darkness.
So being a part of the Red Kettle campaign, that in and of itself is a volunteer opportunity, but you have so many easy ways for those here in the Mid-South that want to get involved with your efforts. Talk about some of the volunteer opportunities.
Yeah, again, the Kettle campaign is a great one to get a bunch of your friends and man one of our Kettle locations for a day, for instance, or throughout the season. We have many churches and youth groups and schools and that take a Kettle location for the whole day. Also, the Angel Tree program is a huge opportunity to help. It's just a massive effort. We have donated a warehouse every year, so 100,000 square feet of toys and clothes, and all those need to be assembled, and then on the day of distribution given out to the people who come for that help. So there's lots of ways to get involved. One of the best ways to connect with us, we have our phone number is 260-9109. So if you're interested, 260-9109, you can call and offer to volunteer. And we have many ways to volunteer all year long.
And one of the other things that makes it really easy is you do a big gala where you bring in national guest speakers, and so for business leaders, for everyone, you make it really easy to come out to events and see some of the work that you're doing, and you always do a very good job of personalizing the story from those that you're helping to be able to learn more about your efforts as well.
Yeah, because the bottom line are the stories of real people whose lives are changed as a result of the generosity of what Memphis is all about, as well as our opportunity to work with them as the Salvation Army. And so there's nothing more inspiring than hearing some of the women and their children tell their story about how their life is completely different because of the generous Memphians, but also the work that we do at the Salvation Army.
So there you go, everyone. Make sure you enjoy the Salvation Army Kroc Center, the Red Kettle campaign, Angel Tree. Greatly appreciate everything you're doing in the community.
Great, thank you.
Their mission is to help people affected with HIV and AIDS live well. I'm here with the Executive Director for Friends for Life, Kim Daugherty. And Friends helping friends, and all of a sudden now robust, comprehensive services and environment and programs. Give us a little bit of the backstory for Friends for Life.
Sure. Friends for Life began in the mid-'80s when our country was really responding to AIDS here in our country, and at that time people who contracted the HIV virus died, and our organization began just as a group of people getting together to help their friends die with some dignity, whether that be helping them with some meals or personal care or something like that. And now we've really evolved into a huge full-service social services organization.
And focused on helping them live well and long too, right?
Absolutely, helping them live well lives. Many of the people we know today living with HIV and AIDS have lived for 20, 25 years. And people who are newly diagnosed can, should they take the medication and live a healthful lifestyle, can really expect to live a normal life expectancy.
How many are affected by HIV and AIDS here in the Mid-South?
Somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 people in our community are affected by HIV and AIDS, and HIV and AIDS continues to be a real issue here in our area.
What would you say are maybe one or two misperceptions?
I think the hugest misperception is about contraction of HIV. You don't contract it casually, and so I think that's always important to talk about. There's still a great amount of stigma placed on people living with HIV, and unfortunately that stigma reduces the likelihood often that people will care for their health. And so anytime you get a chance, you want to say, you know, it's not through casual contact. You don't catch HIV or get HIV from sitting on a toilet seat after someone or drinking after a cup or something. And that's super important for us all to know.
And I mean, that's the key, is information and truth is power. And so I love the advocacy role that you play here in the community. So transitioning over a little bit, is give us kind of a teaser on some of those services. I mean, we talked about being comprehensive, but I know for you it's focusing on the mind, the body, and the spirit. So all three aspects for holistic care.
Absolutely. It is a holistic approach, mind, body, spirit. And we really want to provide supports and services in all three of those areas to help a person live a healthful life.
So let's go ahead and take this as a chance to show people a day in the life at Friends for Life.
My name is Mildred Richard. I'm an EIS peer mentor. I came to Friends for Life in 2001 upon my diagnosis with HIV. And at that time, I had no one. And I knew that I needed help. And I did some research and I found this building. And I remember going over and just meeting people that was just like me, and that's what I needed. And I can say when I walked through the door, I was broken, mentally, physically. I mean, I wasn't existing, I wasn't living. And in this community, Friends for Life provide people an opportunity to come in and become whole again. Upon walking through these doors 13 years ago, I just remember being greeted with love and hugs, and now I'm able to give that back to someone that needs it.
That gives us a little more perspective on Friends for Life, but you have very robust programs, classes, services focused on body, mind, and spirit. Describe those classes and those programs.
Sure. We believe in a holistic approach to person. If you want to help them keep themselves well, you really have to help them look after their whole self. And we do espouse a mind, body, spirit sort of philosophy. We're in mindfulness. We're bringing in people to work with the people we know living with HIV and how to care for themselves. Many people have diabetes or high blood pressure. We're bringing people in to help them with that. Pharmacists to help them talk about how medication is working in their body.
I can imagine understanding the medicine is a big part of that.
Understanding the medicine is a huge part of that. Also bringing in people to do psychosocial supports, licensed clinical staff to help people who may be dealing with trauma in their life or alcohol and drug issues. And so that's really huge. And then we bring in spiritual leaders to work with the people we know, local pastoral staff from churches and what involved with us to help people build their spirit and and really be able to fight that fight against this virus. And then to care for, more so for one's body in other ways, we have services, a huge food ministry, and then really a large housing component to what we do.
Well, that's the unique thing is you have a huge food pantry. You have a pharmacy on staff, basically, and right there in your building. And then the shelter, the homes is a big part of it, too. So let's take those in pieces. Talk about the pharmacy on location.
Yeah, pharmacy on location is a key to what we do there. We have a pharmacy in conjunction with Kroger there on site, where there's a pharmacist available at all times to help to talk to people about their medication and work through any difficulties they may be having, talk to them about side effects and food to eat with their medicine and when to take their medicine. It's super important to help people with that.
And then the food pantry, huge?
Yeah, huge. Providing food to probably 500 to 1,000 people a year just through that food pantry. Literally tons of food put out. It's super important to people living with HIV to have good nutrition. Food is literally medicine for them, and so that's an incredible aspect of what we do.
And then talk about the shelter.
Right, housing is also important to everyone. It's hard to concentrate on your health if you don't have stable housing. We provide housing to 45 people who've been formerly homeless, like literally living on the streets when they come to us, and have just a myriad of problems you might imagine. Living with HIV and being homeless is just not good, and so we bring those people in and provide them some permanent supported housing. Probably helping another 150 to 200 families a year in preventing homelessness. That is helping them with a mortgage payment or a rent payment or a utility payment or something like that, just to prevent that homelessness. And those things are super important for what we do with the community.
Well, the last one is always the fun one, is talk about the ways that those here in the Mid-South can get involved in helping. Talk about the volunteer opportunities.
Yeah, we like other organizations are always in need of volunteers. Of course, people like to volunteer in our food pantry. That's a great thing to do. We also provide a huge congregate meal a couple of times a month, and we have volunteers come in and serve and help prepare that meal.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for people to get involved in. And we also are always looking, people calling us and saying, hey, I don't have time, what else could I do? And we say, well, we need food donations. That's important to us. And then
so doing a food drive.
Doing a food drive. We have churches or civic organizations who do those at different times during the year, and so that's important. And then, as I mentioned, where we're helping people who've been homeless gain housing, those people come to us with literally nothing, and so household goods, either new or gently used, are always accepted, so we can help people establish a household.
Well, there you go. Tons of easy ways to help Friends for Life and get involved. Greatly appreciate everything you're doing and for coming on the show and sharing.
Thank you.
You're a locally owned and operated restaurant famous for giving you a full belly and a heart full of soul. I'm here with the managing partner for Napa Cafe, Rusty Perdone. You and your wife are the doers of it all, the team builders, the philanthropists, those that are heavily engaged in the community, but you wear obviously multiple hats. But give us a little bit of the context, the storyline for Napa Cafe.
Sure. So Napa Cafe has been in existence for 16 years. We've owned the restaurant for 12. And it's something, the business is something we've always been a part of, something we love. We love people, and I think at some point we decided we wanted to have our own business. Glenda purchased the restaurant in 2003, and we've worked really hard to kind of build a loyal following. We've got a lot of great guests. The success of the business has afforded us some opportunities to kind of really give back in a few different ways. And then we've just undergone a big renovation too, which hopefully will bring even more success, which will mean even more giving back.
Nice. And so you're famous for things like your cheeseburger, your crab cakes. You've got such an eclectic menu, the salads, grilled chicken avocado salad, and it's constantly evolving. But give us a little bit of a teaser for the menu and also, too, the pairing. When you say Napa Cafe, you've got some amazing wines.
Well, the idea behind the restaurant obviously is California cuisine. When you take a trip to Napa, for example, or San Francisco, which is in the area, one of the things that you can expect to find is cuisine from all over the world. Italian, French, Asian, South American, it's everything. The key is just that everything is fresh. And so we try to incorporate the elements of all of those into our food. It really gives the person that comes into the restaurant a lot to choose from. The wine obviously ties into the food. The name of the restaurant should evoke Napa Valley, but we really want people thinking about wine as a whole and how it can go with your meal. And we love kind of opening lines of communication with the guests. That's how we build relationships with them.
Well, and you bring winemakers from all around the world, and I know you yourself are a connoisseur, and you're very good at saying, okay, this goes together with this, and so you help people make sure that the pairings are correct. But talk about just the differences, the nuances just within the wines.
Sure. Well, it's all about relationships. We try to develop relationships with winemakers and have wines that we have a personal connection to. The world of wine is very big, and so it's very essential for us to be able to rotate the wines on the wine list. We may only have 100 wines. That may seem like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not. So the key is to kind of have something for everybody and to kind of keep it fresh and keep people excited about it.
And then when you talk about keeping it fresh, the renovation. So for those that stepped foot before, it was kind of a red and very different atmosphere. And now it's got kind of a rustic, but it's a very modern charm. That's how I describe it. How do you describe the renovation?
Well, it's been a complete transformation. And one of the things that's been exciting for me is the guests coming in the restaurant and saying, wow, we don't feel like we're in Memphis. We feel like we're in Napa, or we feel like we're in New York, or I feel like I'm somewhere else. And that lets us know that we have a very unique restaurant, and we've done a great job. Glenda in particular has done an amazing job kind of designing the restaurant. We've made, again, some great relationships with the people that have helped us with it. And we've got a big space, and what we've done is we've just created, by renovating the restaurant, a lot of kind of fun little places for people to sit. We've got an expanded bar, we've got an expanded patio, but we also have a chef's table room for 6, and we just bought some big leather chairs to kind of have a nice conversation pit for people that want to have drinks. And we still have our wine cellar and, of course, our big private room that can seat 65. So there's something for everybody, and it's very warm and inviting.
Well, let's take this as a chance to not only see that, but also to learn a little bit about what we're going to talk about afterward, which is Heartful of Soul. So you call it a multi-sensory event, but you have, as you can see, wine and food and beer and music and the kids performing this, all the songs, so much going on. How do you articulate what you're seeing with Heartful of Soul?
Well, what Heartful of Soul is for us is our big fundraiser in which we give back to the Stax Music Academy and Soulsville Foundation. The dinner itself features songs that we've selected from Stax, performed live by the kids from Stax Music Academy, and that is paired with our food from Napa Cafe, wine from Sleight of Hand Cellars, and beer from High Cotton. We do it over 2 nights, 70 guests each night, and it's just a really energetic and dynamic event that we've created, and it's something that we want to do annually is just a way to give back to the Soulsville Foundation.
And you've done it already 3 years, so you've raised a ton of money. And the thing that I enjoy about this is one piece. You created this. I mean, this is something that it was your idea, and you said, hey, let's team up with Stax Music Academy, let's bring this to life. But you do so much more. You do the steak and burger dinner. You do another one with Special Kids and Families. Talk about some of the other things that you do with Napa Cafe.
Sure. Well, the Special Kids and Families is another big one for us. That event's called Toast for Tots, and it comes up immediately following our Heartful of Soul dinner. The Steak and Burger, which is a big fundraiser for the Boys and Girls Club, we've been big participants in for a few years. We provide all the steaks as well as some staff. Samaritan's Feet, when Manny's in town, we try to participate when we have the time to do that. And then it could be things as simple as just donating gift certificates to silent auctions, something as simple as a school charity event they're doing, or a golf tournament. I mean, anything that we can do, whether we're actually participating or just donating something, we want to do as much as possible.
Well, the thing that I enjoy, and this is a good example, I mean, this is the album cover, but on the back is the menu for Heartful of Soul. And you do a good job of not only hosting the event, but making sure that there's keepsake. It's the little things, but you make sure that this is something that people can remember throughout the year that also then tie back to the Stax Music Academy.
Right, exactly. So because this is our event, we don't want it to end the second night. We want people to go home and go, I need to find out more about Soulsville and what's going on over there, and do a little research on their own. And if that means attending other events that they put on, just taking a tour of the museum and spending that money and taking friends or family from out of town, anything that they can do that will continue that over the course of the year is a big part of what we want to do.
And speaking of that, going back to your statement earlier about Trey Bush and Sleight of Hand, you teamed up with them to create a custom wine that you actually sell locally that benefits the Stax Music Academy.
Exactly. So again, it's all about relationships. So even though Trey's in Washington, he makes this wine for us. Stores like the Stellar Cellar and James and his staff, or the Wine Market with Scott Smith, we've built great relationships with these folks, and they are helping us kind of spread the word and participating in the event with us and kind of co-sponsoring it. And those relationships are just key to the success of everything that we do.
Well, there you go. You have to go and see the renovation yourself, but make sure and check out Heartful of Soul and all the amazing things you're doing. I greatly appreciate not only your feeding our soul literally, but also to taking it the next step and giving back and making a huge difference in our community.
Well, thank you. And real quick, I want to say happy 49th anniversary to my parents.
Nice. The holiday season is a time for family and friends to count our blessings, share our love and appreciation, and give freely to inspire and help others. As we saw this month, there are many organizations lending a helping hand, focused on enhancing the quality of life for others and sharing the magic of the season year-round. Napa Cafe, known for its passion and flair for food, is providing a Heartful of Soul to help the Stax Music Academy. The Salvation Army is providing disaster recovery, shelter, and rehabilitation services to the homeless and renewal at their Kroc Center, while Friends for Life continues to do so much good to help those affected with HIV and AIDS. Here in the Mid-South, we have a Heartful of Soul, and you can find hope around every corner of our community. So thank you for watching The Spark. To learn more about each of the guests and interact with your stories of others leading by example, visit thesparktv.org. We look forward to seeing you next month, and we hope that you'll join with us in creating a spark for the Mid-South. Merry Christmas.
Just like having the right information is necessary to make solid hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.
State Systems is focused on protecting life and property. As a local, privately owned company, our foundation was built on providing all businesses with complete fire and security protection and infrastructure cabling. State Systems is proud to be a part of the Mid-South community and a presenting sponsor of The Spark.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance has been serving the Mid-South since 1954. We've always focused on supporting our community and believed in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb & Pitts is proud to be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.